and welcome to Monmouth in Focus, a program about the services and functions of Monmouth County government. I'm Cynthia Scott, your host of Monmouth in Focus, and today we are joined by Freeholder Deputy Director Patton Preveduto, liaison to the Fire Marshal, to talk about the Fallen Firefighters Memorial and Medal Day, as well as Fire Prevention Week. Thanks so much for joining us, Freeholder.
You're welcome, Cynthia. It's always a pleasure.
Always great to see you here on Monmouth in Focus. And before we get into some very important events, let's talk about the new Monmouth County Fire Marshal. Some exciting news.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. The Board of Chosen Freeholders back in August appointed Fred Migliaccio as our new Fire Marshal. Fred has been in the fire business for 45 years in both West Long Branch and Long Branch, and he's also been in the Fire Marshal's office for the past 25 years.
Okay, so he's got quite a bit of experience there.
He does.
And speaking of the Fire Marshal's office, every year they host a very meaningful event, shall I say. And what is that?
Yeah, they absolutely do. It's the Fallen Firefighters Memorial Day celebration. It pays tribute to all of the firefighters who gave their lives in Monmouth County since 1881. The families are invited, and each member name is announced, and a red carnation is placed on the platform by a family member. And we also award those agencies who have gone above and beyond this past year with community service.
Right, probably a very nice but somber event, I would imagine.
Yeah, it really is. It was very, very well attended. Fire members from all over Monmouth County were there, as well as a significant number of family members.
And where is it held? It's held at the Fire
That's
Academy,
held at the
correct?
Fire Academy, yes, in Howell.
And there's the sculpture there?
Absolutely, the sculpture is there, yeah. That sculpture was created in 2017. And if you haven't seen the sculpture, you need to really take a look at it. Franco Minervini was the one who designed the sculpture. When you look at the sculpture, it's a firefighter embracing a flag, okay? And the flag is embracing you back. And the eyes of the firefighter are looking over your shoulder to the people standing behind you, the people that they serve. So it's really, it's a beautiful job by Franco Minervini, and
wow.
It's really poignant too.
Absolutely, yeah. They are really such heroes with lots of courage. Firefighters putting their lives on every day, put their lives on the line of duty every day. And really just sacrificing so much for others. Yeah. And there's also another important event called Medal Day.
Medal Day, well, that was part of it. Yes. And we award medals to community members who have served the community this past year, who have gone above and beyond. Yeah. And there were certain fire companies throughout the county and the Sheriff's Office and 911 Center that received some citations.
Now, Fire Prevention Week is a very important week, correct?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
It started in 1920 with Calvin Coolidge. Back over, I'm trying to think, I guess it was 1861, there was a massive fire in Chicago. And 250 people died. And in 1925, President Calvin Coolidge proclaimed it Fire Prevention Week. And every year since then, we have been made aware, be it students and or adults, or children and or adults, about fire prevention and what needs to be done.
And it's a week in October every year, and it's the longest running public health observance in our country.
That it is.
Yeah.
That it is, yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I know that in honor of Fire Prevention Week, you go out and about and visit certain areas. What did you do this year?
Well, actually, just a couple of hours this morning. I was in a Grambling school in Howell Township with a fire person from Long Branch, and we discussed fire prevention with kindergarten students. So it was probably about 125 kindergarten students and their teachers, and we talk about what they need to do if they are on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. And then we also talked about plan, practice, and escape. And it was important that the fire person that was reaching out to the kids on our behalf, talk to them about what to do in case there's a house fire, how you should just run out of the house, and this should be a planned area where the students or children need to go so the parents know that they are there. Don't go back into the house for any reason. Forget your toys or stuffed animals. Just get out of the house as quickly as possible. And so it was. The kids were very receptive.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing about kindergartners, they're like sponges and they get excited.
Yeah.
We get the little
and
badges.
there's a lot of noise.
Yeah, and it was. They got some badges in coloring book
fun.
about fire
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But you know what? We talked about the smoke alarms.
Yeah.
And so our fire person demonstrated a smoke alarm, and if it goes off, you hear this sound. It's time to go out because they're smoke eaters.
Mm-hmm.
And they are to go home this weekend and talk to their parents about changing the batteries in the smoke alarms.
Good.
And making sure the parents have a gathering place in case there's a fire outside of the home.
Of course, absolutely. It's so important to teach these kids at a young age about fire and about calling 911 and police and safety in general. Because like you said, they are like sponges. They're going to soak it up now.
That's right.
That's so important.
Yeah.
And did they receive it well? I would imagine.
Oh, they
yes.
were excited. It was great. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
So we're coming upon the holiday season, and such a great time of year, but you really have to be careful because of fires, Christmas trees, wreaths, extra cooking. Tell us some safety tips that you have to share with the public.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, we also some knowledge we impart upon the students where stay out of the kitchen. Don't touch anything hot on the stove, or grab a pot that might be on the stove. But you know what? During the holiday season, most of the fires are caused in the kitchen. People are neglecting when they cook, and things tend to get on fire. So you have to be conscious of what you're cooking, what's on the stove, what's in the oven. Keep your oven mitts away, or from a flame, or some wooden utensils,
Sure.
or towels, from the stove. And as I mentioned once before, you also have to be conscious of, it is the holiday season coming up. So you have to make sure, if you have a live Christmas tree, that it's watered and it's hydrated, and that when you go to bed at night or you're leaving the house for a long time, please make sure that the lights are shut off. Same thing with the lights outside of the home. You have to make sure that there are no frayed wires. So there's a litany of things that we will ask our residents to look for in the next month or two.
Of course, yep, absolutely. And as long as if they practice those important safety tips, we should all have a wonderful holiday season.
We should.
And safe.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us today, Freeholder. Always a pleasure to have you here.
You're very
and
welcome.
sharing some important safety tips with the Monmouth County Fire Academy and all the initiatives and efforts that they make throughout the year to ensure safety.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's always a pleasure to be here.
And that is all the time we have for this segment of Monmouth in Focus. Of course, you can visit www.visitmonmouth.com for more information. I'm Cynthia Scott. Have a great day, everyone.